Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. I say it often, we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at AMD. We closed at 203.68, and as you can see, we came up, got rejected, back down at this 203.9. $200.93 is kind of like our support as of right now. So where the trouble places back to the upside, right? So we could possibly have trouble 202.03. Should we break that 202.90 and breaking that level today, 203.79? That is kind of where our 50 EMA and ATR trailing stop is forming right now at that 203.79. However, breaking that 204.88, and should we break that 205.64 is where our 200 EMA is as of now. We can use that as a support and resistance range for us if you're using the moving averages. Let's say that, right? So breaking that 205.64, we could possibly have trouble again 206.20, and should we break that for AMD today, 207.67 those are just possible areas of resistance or trouble places, as I like to say, right? So now back to the downside. Let's say we break under this $200.93 or $200.48, what I have marked 248. If we break under that 248, we could possibly come back to 199.07, again at 197.53. Breaking that 197.53, as we see here, there's a few layers of support. So I would say, let's say at the 197.53 down to the 196.64. Now should we break the 196.64 for AMD today, 195.67 could be a support area, and then under that 193.82, keep in mind we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So breaking that 193.82 area for AMD today, we could possibly come back to around the 190, 150. Again, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So if you're trading AMD today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. And I said often, y'all mark your levels, and once it goes against your reason, the reason that you got in the trade, once it goes against that, get out so that you can live to trade another day, right? So we are now looking at Meta. We closed at 657.01, and as you can see, y'all, we've come down to a level that we kind of knew we could possibly have trouble, that 650.02, which was kind of where we were on yesterday, right? So where the trouble places for Meta, that 650.02 is our support as of now. We can say resistance 651.55. Again, I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are. Now, should we break the let's say the 651.55, we could possibly have trouble again, 653.01. Should we break that for Meta today, 654.04, and breaking that 655.22. Now, if we break that 655.22, we have an ATR trail and stop that's forming here at the 656.32, which could be a resistance area for us. Now, breaking that today, 657.64, and should we break that, 658.72. So those are possible areas of resistance for Meta today. Now, let's look to the downside. For some reason, it looks like we may, let me say that, go to the downside today. Again, not financial advice, right? So looking at Meta to the downside, breaking under the 650.02, we can come back to around the 649.20. Now, if we break the 649.20 area today, the next level that I have is around the 648.31, and as you can see, it's right there kind of where that 200 EMA is, 648.53. So there's a few layers of support here for Meta if you're trading Meta today at that 648.31 down to the 648. 648.05. Now breaking that, we could very well come back to 646.99. And should we break that today, 645.83, breaking that down to the 644.99. Again, there's a few layers of support here. However, breaking that today, that 644.99, we can come back to 643.98, 643.31, 642.60, and 641.98. So those are possible areas of support and resistance for Meta. And I said often, y'all, this market does what it does, right? So what's important is marking those levels of support and or resistance and making sure you understand where your trouble places are, right? So looking at this NVIDIA chart, you like, what is going on, right? I'm going to go back and make it right. Okay. So looking at NVIDIA as of right now, it seems as if that 182.45 was a support area for us. And I had the 182.56, right? So back to the upside, there's a few layers up to the 183.05. However, breaking that 183.30, should we break that 183.74, 183.99, 184.26, 184.48, 184.67, and should we break that 185, breaking that 185, y'all see that ATR trail and stop is forming right at a level that we have marked here at the 185.25. So if NVIDIA is something that you trade today, I say it often, y'all, trade carefully, right? So back to the downside, y'all see we could very well continue declining. I'm going to make this a little bit more visible for us. There we are. Yes, under the 182.30, we could very well come back to 182.14. Again, here at 181.99, let's say down here 181.73, 181.53, 181.28, 181.07, and then 180.78. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So if NVIDIA is something that you trade, I said often, y'all, mark your levels. The market is telling us the story. We just have to learn how to read the charts, right? So let's go look at the SPY today just to see where we are. We closed at 689.30 and we've made a pre-market low thus far at the 684.01. Y'all see that level of 684.27 is the level that I have marked here. So back to the upside, we could possibly have trouble 685.21, 685.58, few layers up to the 686.51 and breaking that 686.93, breaking that 686.93, possibly back up here at 686.51. So 686.51, there's a few layers of resistance up to that. However, breaking that 686.93, back at 687.57, 688.15, 688.54, up to the 689.02, and breaking that 689.45. Should we break that 689.43 or 689.83? Again, I look at it on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my trouble places are, right? Now, if it works better for you to do it on a 25 cents or 50 cents or whole dollar, do what works best for you, okay? So back to the downside, breaking under this 682. Y'all see price came all the way back to this level. We kind of knew we could possibly have trouble, right? So that 682.01, the next level that I have is here at 681.91, and then under that 681.78. The next level is around the 681.35, but keep in mind we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. Now breaking that 681.35, the next level for the SPY I have is around the $600.38. But keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. So breaking that 680.37 for the SPY today, we can come back to around 679.95. And should we break the 679.95, we can come back to the 679.35. That could be a support area down to the 679.16. It would not surprise me to see us back down here at this 679 area. Now breaking that for the SPY, we can come back to 678.47. So if the SPY is something that you trade today, I said again, y'all trade carefully, mark your levels, and once it goes against your Y, get out, right? We are now looking at Tesla. Y'all see that 404.80 was a strong area of support. It is now a strong area of resistance. We definitely need to be careful if you're trading Tesla today. I said often, y'all, mark your levels, and once it goes against that reason for getting in the trade, you have to learn to get out, right? So trouble places back to the upside for Tesla. If we get back above the 5 EMA at 405.53, we can have trouble again, 406.57, 407.10, breaking that 407.89, and should we break that 409.03, should we break that 410.01, that 410.01 is interesting, right? We were there on yesterday, so 410.01, and breaking that for Tesla, 410.58, and should we break that 411.43, 412, that 412 is a strong area in my opinion. However, breaking that today, we could come back to 412.97, have a little trouble there, and 413.75. So those are possible areas of resistance or trouble places for Tesla. Now, again, not financial advice. So if we break under the 403.68, we could very well come back to the 402.54, all the way down to the 401.32, and breaking that today for Tesla, $400.56. I remember that one also. So should we break the $400.56, we can very well come back to 398.62. Breaking the 398.62 for Tesla, we can come back to 396.66. So if you're trading Tesla today, these are possible areas of support and resistance. Now breaking that 396.66, we could come back to 394.96, and again here 392.73. So those are possible areas of support. Again, it would not surprise me to see us back in this 392 area. I'm going to say it again, not financial advice. Again, breaking the $400.56. Again, it would not surprise me to see us back at the 392 area. Again, I'm going to say it one more time, not financial advice. So this is what I see when I look at the market. Y'all, I say it so often. There's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you and making sure that you have the discipline to execute your plan, making sure that you have a plan before going into the trade, right? And I know a lot of times when people look at my charts, they see a lot of lines, but for Tesla, SPY, and NVIDIA, I've been charting for a while, so I don't erase those because at some point I'm going to need those. I just try to figure out a way of making it visible for me to see. And that's what trading, you've got to figure out what works best for you. I say that often, right? So again, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. If you could please like, share, subscribe. Y'all, I say it often, we learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.